point, I would like to introduce Behti. I need to let you know that each class chooses its own speaker or valedictorian, as it were. And so this woman was the choice of her class. And I told you that I would tell you a little bit about how the class viewed greatness. And so you can understand that this young lady must be extraordinarily great, hearing how her colleagues speak of what greatness means to them and how they will be great. So let me say, they said that greatness is sharing my fiery, passionate heart and mind with others while leading with humility. Greatness is being direct and firm while being loving and affirming. I like that. Also, greatness is being vulnerable enough to say, I don't understand. I'm struggling without feeling ashamed of that. Greatness looks like holding space for those who were hurtful and choosing to assume the best of those people, knowing that they too themselves must be in pain. And greatness really is acknowledging that someone's heart may be heavy from seeing terrible things happening in the world and contributing to negativity and saying, I'm going to be a positive force myself and stand up for myself and others when I see wrongdoing. So with that, let me turn it over to Behti.
Hello, everyone. I'm Behti. Thank you so much, Ms. Ngozi, for that wonderful introduction. First and foremost, my sisters and I would like to thank each and every one of you in attendance for being here today. You could have been spending your Friday doing any other thing or in any other way, and instead you chose to be here. Unbeknownst to a lot of you, for some of my sisters, this is their very first graduation. And so the fact that you are here today to celebrate with us means more than what I could ever articulate to you. To our loved ones, our family members, our friends, thank you for your unwavering love and support. To all of the donors, both on the front lines and behind the scenes, thank you so much for what you've poured into this organization. With your contribution, none of this would at all be possible. And you are a huge reason as to why we were able to complete this program despite the circumstances under which we all had to navigate. I think I can speak for everyone when I say that the last 3.5 months have been a very unique experience, to say the least. The world literally shifted before our eyes, and we were all forced to look at all that was not working in our lives and dare to reimagine something new and different. For some of us, it was in our careers. For others, it was in our relationships or our family dynamics. For some, it was our relationship with money. And others, it was our relationship with our own bodies and our own mental health. And for many of us, it was all of those things at once. The truth of the matter is that the world was simply catching up to the reality that many of us face on a day-to-day basis. Being a woman in America is no easy feat. But I have to say, any person who identifies as a woman of color in America is a walking miracle. Sorry. Not only do we have to overcome sexism in a largely patriarchal society, we also have to overcome the obstacles set in place for us to fail, given the color of our skin. We often talk about the systemic constructs that disrupt our overall freedoms and livelihood. yet somehow we are unwilling to dismantle its system piece by piece. We do not want to look at everything in its entirety, most times because, one, it hurts too much to look at for too long. Two, there are levels of shame and guilt we are not yet ready to address. And three, looking at everything potentially threatens the little bit of privilege we may have in this hierarchy. The thing is, though, we cannot dismantle a system without looking at all of its parts, piece by piece. There are three things every single human being on the planet craves. Those three things are safety, belonging, and mattering. These are innate. They're crucial to our development as human beings and heavily influences the way that we move through the world. These are basic needs. And many women of color all over the world get up every single day just to meet those basic needs to survive. Thriving for many of us is a luxury. Every single woman I've sat in on this class with has had to fight for luxury. The world stopped, but our lives did not. Imagine trying to fulfill your dreams of becoming a skilled seamstress and fashion designer while also having to stretch a $600 check for the month, pay your rent, feed your kids, help with their homework and their remote learning, cook, bury your father, watch your husband literally fight for his life in ICU, and attend to your own physical and mental needs while being sheltered in one place for over 3 months. Not to mention, in all of this, as women, we typically leave our needs for last. And so when I say that thriving really is a luxury for a lot of women of color in this country, it is, because we get so wrapped up in surviving. It leaves very little time and space to imagine a life that is thriving. A lot of us walked into this process not having ever sewn a stitch and walked out as skilled seamstresses, as pattern makers, as graphic designers, and as accountants. I didn't know I would be becoming an accountant throughout this process, y'all. We learned and developed so many skills, many of which we didn't even know we were signing up for. Yes, you may be an amazing seamstress with a keen eye for detail, but how do you speak when you're referencing other people? Yeah, you may have the work ethic of a horse, but how do you treat others? Yeah, you may be an adaptive learner who can master new skills quickly, but are you just as quick to pull up the hand of the person behind you who may be struggling? And yes, you may be highly knowledgeable with an extensive educational background, but how can you hold the heart of the person you call your sister, even when you do not agree? My experience at Custom Collaborative reminded me that I was valued far more than the labor that I could produce for someone. It reminded me that there was no I in excellence, and that I am only as excellent as the women I'm standing beside. And in the process of striving for that excellence, I do not ever have to put my foot on her neck. Instead, it was a reminder to hold her hand. More than testing our skill set as fashion designers and seamstresses, this process truly tested our character and our integrity as women. And for that, I am eternally grateful. Thank you.